Welcome to Celeb Vibe, your ultimate source for breaking down the biggest stories in pop culture, entertainment, and beyond. We keep you updated on the highs and lows of the celebrity world, bringing you the latest drama, controversies, and career-defining moments. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about topics of the year, the most shocking reputation crashes of 2024. These stars went from the top of their game to facing massive public backlash, scandals, or career-ending missteps. While some may find a way to rebuild their image, others might never recover from the fallout. Who made the list and what led to their downfall? Let's break it all down. Chapter 1. Katy Perry, controversial. Comeback Katy Perry was set to make a grand return in 2024 with her long-awaited album 143, marking her first studio release in almost 4 years. After stepping back from the music industry to focus on her judging role on American Idol, her Las Vegas residency, and motherhood, Perry's comeback was highly anticipated by both fans and industry insiders. The album was positioned as a celebration of female empowerment, promising anthems of resilience, self-love, and independence. But instead of being met with universal praise, 143 quickly became one of the most polarizing releases of the year. The controversy wasn't about the music itself, it was about who she chose to work with. Perry's decision to collaborate with Dr. Luke, the producer who had been accused of sexual assault and abuse by Kesha years prior, sparked immediate backlash. While Dr. Luke has never been convicted, the allegations led many artists, including Kesha, Taylor Swift, and Lady Gaga, to publicly distance themselves from him. Perry, however, not only continued working with him, but actively defended their professional relationship. The fallout was swift and brutal. Fans and fellow artists criticized her for hypocrisy, arguing that a project centered on female empowerment shouldn't involve someone accused of harming a female artist. Social media exploded with backlash, and hashtags like "Show Boycott Katy Perry" and "Dumber Drop Daughter Luke" trended for weeks. Perry attempted damage control, stating in interviews that she had always had a positive working relationship with Dr. Luke, and that she was focused on the music rather than industry politics. But the response only fueled the fire, with critics arguing that she was dismissing a serious issue for the sake of her career. As a result, 143 struggled commercially. While it debuted respectably on the charts, its numbers quickly plummeted, and the project failed to produce a major hit. Concert ticket sales were reportedly slower than expected, and Perry found herself in an uncomfortable position, loved by her loyal fan base, but shunned by much of the industry that had once embraced her. Her reputation took a significant hit, and whether she can recover remains uncertain. Will Katy Perry manage to bounce back from the controversy, or has her decision permanently damaged her standing in the industry? Only time will tell. Chapter 2. Jennifer Lopez, flop-era Jennifer. Lopez entered 2024 with sky-high expectations, ready to make a bold artistic statement with her 9th studio album, This Is Me Now. The album was meant to be a spiritual sequel to her 2002 hit, This Is Me. Then, reflecting on her evolution over 2 decades, both as an artist and as a woman, at the heart of the project was a deeply personal love story, her rekindled romance and marriage with Ben Affleck. With a massive $20 million budget, funded out of her own pocket, Lopez didn't just release an album, she crafted an entire multimedia experience, including a full-length musical film and an accompanying documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. The goal was clear: to cement her legacy not just as a singer, but as a visionary storyteller. However, things didn't go as planned. Despite Lopez's relentless promotional efforts, including an emotional sit-down with Oprah, a high-profile Rolling Stone cover, and a performance at the Grammys, the album struggled to gain traction. The lead single failed to chart in the Billboard Hot 100, and when the album finally dropped, it missed the Billboard 200's top 20, an embarrassing reality for a superstar of her stature. Fans and critics alike began dubbing it her flop era. So what went wrong? For one, the concept itself was divisive. While Lopez viewed This Is Me now as an ode to love, critics and even casual listeners saw it as a self-indulgent vanity project. The constant references to Ben Affleck, who reportedly had little interest in participating, came off as excessive, and audiences weren't sold on the idea of an entire album and movie being centered around a relationship that the public already seemed exhausted by. Secondly, Lopez's music has never been her strongest suit. While she's an undeniable superstar in Hollywood, her music career has been inconsistent, with her biggest hits often coming from collaborations rather than solo efforts. Without a radio-friendly hit or viral moment, the album simply didn't have the staying power needed to dominate the charts. Then came the backlash. As the weeks passed, reports surfaced that ticket sales for her upcoming tour were abysmal. Some venues had entire sections left unsold, and rumors of last-minute cancellations started circulating. Fans also noted affordability issues, with some VIP ticket packages going for over $1,000, making it clear that even her most dedicated followers weren't willing to shell out that kind of cash. Adding to the chaos, Lopez's persona, long critiqued as out of touch, became a bigger problem. A viral TikTok clip showed her brushing off a fan who asked for a selfie, reigniting discussions about her alleged diva attitude. Internet discourse quickly turned brutal, with people questioning whether Lopez's star power was fading for good. By mid-2024, "This Is Me" now had become one of the biggest flops of her career, leaving Lopez in a difficult position. Would she rebrand and shift focus to acting, or would she attempt yet another musical comeback? For now, one thing is certain: Jennifer Lopez may still be a household name, but her days of dominating the music industry seem to be behind her. Chapter 3: Blake Lively. Bad Timing Blake. Lively entered 2024 poised for a major career resurgence. Best known for her roles in Gossip Girl and a string of hit films, Lively had taken a step back from acting in recent years to focus on family life and business ventures. But with her leading role in the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us, she was set to make a powerful return to the spotlight. Unfortunately, instead of celebrating a career-defining moment, Lively found herself at the center of controversy and backlash, one that had little to do with her actual performance and everything to do with timing and optics. On-set drama and tension with Justin Baldoni. From the start, It Ends With Us was one of the most highly anticipated yet scrutinized adaptations in recent memory. The novel, which tells the heart-wrenching story of domestic abuse and survival, has a passionate fanbase. But when set photos first leaked, criticism quickly flooded social media, with many arguing that Lively, at 36 years old, was too mature to play Lily Bloom, a character who is in her early 20s in the book. The drama didn't end there. Rumors swirled that Lively had a tense working relationship with her co-star and director, Justin Baldoni, who played her love interest Ryle Kincaid. Reports surfaced that the two clashed over creative direction, with Lively allegedly unhappy about the way certain emotionally charged scenes were being handled. Some claim the tension was so bad that crew members began taking sides, further disrupting production. Whether the rumors were exaggerated or not, one thing was clear: by the time the film's first trailer dropped, fan excitement had cooled significantly. Instead of praise, social media was flooded with skepticism about the movie's tone, casting, and the overall execution of the adaptation. The hair care launched backlash. If the film's lukewarm reception wasn't enough, Lively found herself facing another PR disaster, one that could have been easily avoided. At the same time, It Ends With Us was making headlines. Lively was gearing up to launch her own hair care brand. Known for her voluminous blonde locks, she had long been admired for her hair, making the beauty industry a natural extension of her personal brand. However, the timing was disastrous. Lively officially announced the brand just as conversations about domestic abuse awareness, sparked by the film, were at their peak. Critics called the move tone-deaf, arguing that promoting a luxury hair care line while starring in a film about the trauma of domestic violence felt insensitive and poorly timed. Fans and media outlets alike began questioning whether the product rollout was intentional, designed to capitalize on the film's press coverage. Though sources close to Lively insisted the overlap was purely coincidental, the damage was already done. Social media erupted with backlash, accusing her of using a serious issue as a marketing tool. Weathering the storm, despite the controversy, Lively did not directly address the backlash. Instead, she maintained her usual poised and polished public persona, letting the storm pass. While It Ends With Us eventually made a decent showing at the box office, it was far from the blockbuster hit many had expected. And while her hair care brand still launched successfully, it carried the lingering aftertaste of poor judgment. While Lively ultimately survived the misstep with her career intact, this chapter in 2024 was a rare blemish on her otherwise flawless Reputation. In an industry where timing is everything, this PR mishap was an unfortunate reminder that even Hollywood's most beloved stars aren't immune to bad optics. Chapter 4. Neil Gaiman. Career in ruins. For decades, Neil Gaiman was celebrated as one of the most influential voices in modern fantasy and speculative fiction. With a career spanning best-selling novels, Coraline, American Gods, The Sandman, critically acclaimed TV adaptations, Good Omens, and numerous prestigious literary awards, Gaiman had built a reputation as a storytelling genius. But in 2024, his legacy crumbled overnight. Shocking allegations and industry fallout in early 2024, multiple women came forward with disturbing accusations of sexual misconduct against Gaiman. The most damning claim came from his child's former nanny, who alleged that Gaiman assaulted her the very day they first met. As the story spread, more women stepped forward with their own accusations, painting a picture of a pattern of inappropriate behavior. Gaiman vehemently denied the allegations, calling them baseless and defamatory. But in the age of social media and instant public judgment, the damage was swift and severe. Fans, colleagues, and major industry players distanced themselves from him, and the fallout was immediate. Projects scrapped and career in freefall as public backlash mounted. Gaiman's once thriving career came to a screeching halt. Amazon Prime quickly severed ties, halting the planned final season of Good Omens, a show he co-created and heavily influenced. Instead of a full season, the series was condensed into a 90-minute special with Gaiman completely removed from the project. Disney reconsidered its highly anticipated adaptation of The Graveyard Book, a project that had been in development for years. Sources claimed the studio wanted to avoid any association with Gaiman's controversy and considered shelving it altogether. Publishing deals stalled, with several bookstores quietly pulling his titles from promotional displays, and his upcoming works were delayed indefinitely. For an author whose work had shaped fantasy literature for a generation, this was nothing short of a complete professional collapse. Public reaction and uncertain future fans were divided. Some remained loyal, arguing that due process should be followed before condemning a literary icon. Others, however, cut ties immediately, unwilling to separate the art from the artist. Meanwhile, industry insiders speculated on whether Gaiman could ever recover from the scandal. Unlike some celebrities who have managed to rehabilitate their images over time, the severity of the allegations and the industry-wide rejection made a comeback seem unlikely. By the end of 2024, the man who had once been a literary titan now faced an uncertain, possibly irredeemable future. His name, once synonymous with imagination and brilliance, was now tarnished beyond recognition. Chapter 5. Lil Durk, Legal Nightmare. In 2024, Lil Durk, one of the most prominent figures in modern rap, found himself facing his most dangerous and life-altering battle yet. Known for his gritty lyrics and deeply personal music, Durk had already weathered significant public scrutiny and legal troubles throughout his career. However, nothing prepared him for the bombshell accusations that would shake his entire world to its core. Murder-for-hire allegations and connection to LA shooting. In early 2024, Durk was accused of orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot that led to the death of Quando Rondo's cousin in Los Angeles. According to law enforcement, Durk allegedly paid associates to carry out the hit in a brutal act of revenge for the 2020 murder of his close friend and fellow rapper King Von. The story quickly became a national headline, with investigators claiming they had linked Durk to the crime through text messages, phone records, and surveillance footage. The chilling details of the shooting, which took place in a public area, were quickly revealed to the public, and the alleged motive, revenge for King Von's murder, sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Authorities believe the shooting was a deliberate attempt to settle the score and exact revenge on those they believed responsible for Von's death, a tragedy that had devastated Durk personally and professionally. King Von's murder had already fueled an ongoing feud between rival factions in Chicago and Atlanta, further intensifying the pressure on Durk. Facing life in prison. As the investigation ramped up, Durk's legal team worked tirelessly to deny the allegations, with the rapper maintaining his innocence. His defense attorneys argued that there was no concrete evidence linking him directly to the crime, and they vowed to fight the charges vigorously in court. Despite their efforts, the seriousness of the charges could not be ignored. If convicted, Durk could face life in prison or even the death penalty under California law. making this not just a career-ending scandal, but potentially a life-altering one. The rapper, known for his tough persona and his real-life involvement in street culture, now found himself in a fight for his very freedom. Public backlash and support. As the case made headlines, the rap community found itself divided. On one hand, many fans and artists expressed support for Durk, citing his past struggles and his position as a leading voice in the drill music scene. They argued that the allegations were an attempt to bring down a successful artist who had already overcome much adversity. On the other hand, critics and detractors were quick to point to Durk's history of violence and legal issues, questioning whether this was yet another example of him being involved in criminal activity. Some felt that his music, often filled with references to violence and street life, only fueled the accusations against him. The rapper's future in the industry became uncertain. Once viewed as an icon in the genre, Durk's reputation was now tangled in the public's perception of him. His fans were forced to grapple with the possibility that the man behind their favorite tracks could be guilty of something as heinous as murder. What's next for Lil Durk? As the case heads to trial in 2025, Durk's future remains in limbo. The rapper, whose success had placed him at the top of the hip-hop world, now faces the greatest challenge of his life, one that could forever change his career and his freedom. With the stakes higher than ever, Durk's legal team is preparing for a lengthy and high-profile trial, but the odds are stacked against him. As his case plays out in the courtroom, the public continues to watch closely, wondering whether this will be the end of Lil Durk's career or if he will somehow manage to clear his name and reclaim his position in the rap game.